Hey there YouTube, Superbrain AK here, and well, I made a thing. This looks like a thing that's already been here. Well, that I didn't even make. One of the, what is that? LM2596 buck converter boards. But you may see quite a few wires going to and from it. Hopefully nothing shorts out. But there is a little double diode with both sides pointing to the center. Its center goes to the input of the buck converter. This white positive goes over to here to a Dell laptop battery. All the grounds are connected. So then the other side goes to here, which is going through my multimeter, and over to here, which is on a nice fat power lead, using XT60 connectors, of course, with the switch, which is going to this big, gigantic 220 watt 12 volt brick from Dell, 18 amps, I believe. So yeah, one of these sides, so one side is going to the battery, the other side is going to the power supply. The center leg goes to the LM2596, and that also goes off to this, which is 3 wires here. And there's another wire that's coming off of the 2596 to here, which is just 1 wire. And well, that goes to this, which is my Ooma. That's set to 5 volts. This is my modem, which is getting 12 volts from this. This is my router and switch and access point, which is coming from 12 volts from this. And this is a little 10100 switch that I'm adding because I actually need more ports. That's getting 12 volts. So yeah, I have finally made it. I have finally made my DC UPS. 12 volt power, battery power. That goes to that double diode. The output of the double diode goes to the LM2596, which goes 5 volts out to there. And then the other 12 volts coming off of that diode as well goes to all 3 network gear. I don't have anything yet for the phone, but if I ever need to use the phone, I can just leave it plugged into my proper mouthful. Whoops. Technical difficulties. My proper UPS sitting down there, and I'm actually getting a serial port to, or a motherboard header to serial port for my computer, because my ASRock board has a serial port, so I'll be able to actually plug in my UPS and have it be managed as an actual battery, instead of just me eyeballing it, seeing when it's going to turn off or not, which has actually never happened. I've never run that thing down. So yeah, So you can see right now it's drawing 1.1 amps, which is coming from the 12-volt supply. And theoretically, if I switch it off, power supply is now off. That is now off. Ooma is on. Modem is on. Router's on. Switch is on. It's all being powered from this one battery. Awesome. Can't you say? So, one thing I haven't tested is how much heat builds up on this thing. And then a fatal flaw is I cannot charge this battery. So if it ever does die, I would have to put it in one of my 5400 laptops and charge it up. But that's no biggie. That's why it's pretty easily hot swappable. So yeah, I say it works. So basically the theory is, as long as the 12-volt supply has a higher voltage than the DC battery, well, of course the battery is DC, who am I kidding? It should always draw power from the 12 volts from the mains. If that dies, browns out, or, well, I guess I have no over voltage protection, but that'll kick off anyway. Yeah, if that does anything bad, then it will automatically switch over to the battery and go about its day. So yeah, next thing I need to do is set up some sort of charging circuit for the battery. But how often the power actually goes out, I'd say leaving it sitting there is probably just fine, and charging it up from a 5400 laptop would probably be just fine. One thing I do have to remember is, well, it's always going to be on as long as that battery is connected. So if I ever want to turn it off, I have to turn off the power supply and the battery. But that is pretty easy because I've installed a little switch onto the battery connector, which just goes from pin 3 to ground through a 1K resistor. And pin 3 is from the left side, which is the negative. So if you ever want to know how to turn on a Dell laptop power supply or battery, that's how you do it. What I was hoping to do is power everything from a slice battery. I'll show you what one of those looks like. One of these guys. Focus. There you go. 97 watt hour. That way I can have the DC UPS be a single 19.5 volt power supply. And then use this for managing the power, for charging the battery and giving 12 volts out. Because I have tested and that does output 12 volts when it's not charging the battery. There's a few little MOSFETs. But let's see. So there is the buck converter side. Takes 19.5 volts there. I don't know why it has two inductors, but I think that's the main switching inductor, and that other one to the right is just like filtering. So that outputs through those two resistors for current sensing, out to here through this MOSFET, which goes here and joins this fuse, which goes to these MOSFETs, which goes straight to the battery terminal, the positive battery terminal. So this gets 12 volts, and then these go straight here, which go to the positive of the connector. So these protect basically the same way it protects the battery, by reverse and negative polarity. So I haven't figured out which pin on here, if you can even see all those pins. And I've been very careful not to short them together because I have had one of these blow up on me. But I haven't figured out which one turns on its output. So that's a work in progress. So I might completely redo this thing using a slice battery if I can figure it out and if it's actually possible. But there you have it, guys. My DC UPS hasn't gone up in smoke while I was out there. And battery meter's turned off. But yeah, there you have it, guys. DC UPS. Using a battery, a diode, and a power supply. Awesome. See ya.